Hey guys, Elisa Mousy here, and welcome back to another Dragon Age Origins Codex video. I figured, now might be a good time, considering oops, that's not where I wanted to go. Since we're really close to somewhere where we're going to get a bunch of new stuff. So, first off, Creature's Broodmother. It is well known that Darkspawn carry off those captured in their raids to underground layers. Most assume that the prisoners are eaten or somehow tainted and turned into Darkspawn themselves, though this could never account for the sheer numbers of the horde. Forays made by Grey Wardens into the underground have uncovered the answer. When exposed to the Darkspawn taint, men are driven mad and eventually die. Women, however, undergo great pain and gross mutations that cause most of them to perish. Those that survive, however, become the grotesque broodmothers. These giant, twisted behemoths birth many Darkspawn at a time. A single broodmother can create thousands of Darkspawn over the course of her lifetime. Each type of Darkspawn is born from a different broodmother. Humans produce Hurlocks, dwarves produce Genlocks, elves give birth to Shrieks, and from Kunari are born the Ogres. That makes a lot of sense. I never thought about that, but that makes a lot of sense. Damn, I don't have any water here with me. Magic and religion. Lyrium. More than half the wealth of Orzammar comes from a single, extremely rare substance, lyrium. The chanter believes it to be the waters of the Fade, mentioned in the Canticle of Threnodies, the very stuff of creation itself, from whence the Maker fashioned the world. Only a handful of mining caste families hazard extracting the ore, finding veins in the stone quite literally by ear. For in its raw form lyrium sings, and the discerning can hear the sound even through solid rock. Even though dwarves have a natural resistance, raw lyrium is dangerous for all but the most experienced of the mining caste to handle. Even for dwarves, exposure to the unprocessed mineral can cause deafness or memory loss. For humans and elves, direct contact with lyrium ore produces nausea, blistering of the skin, and dementia. Mages cannot even approach unprocessed lyrium. Doing so is invariably fatal. If I had touched those lyrium veins with Morrigan, would something bad have happened? Would something really, really bad have happened? I feel like it might have. Or if I was a mage. Despite its dangers, lyrium is the single most valuable mineral currently known. In the Tevinter Imperium, it has been known to command a higher price than diamond. The dwarves sell very little of the processed mineral to the surface, giving the greater portion of what they mine to their own smiths, who use it in the forging of all truly superior dwarven weapons and armor. What processed lyrium is sold on the surface goes only to the chantry, who strictly control the supply. From the chantry, it is dispensed to both the Templars, who make use of it in tracking and fighting Maleficarum, and to the Circle. In the hands of the Circle, lyrium reaches its fullest potential. Their Formari craftsmen transform it into an array of useful items from the practical, such as magically hardened stone for construction, to the legendary silver armor of King Calenhad. When mixed into liquid and ingested, lyrium allows mages to enter the Fade fully aware, unlike all others who reach it only while dreaming. Such potions can also be used to aid in the casting of especially taxing spells for a short time, granting a mage a far greater power than he normally wields. Lyrium has its costs, however. Prolonged use becomes addictive, the cravings unbearable. Over time, Templars grow disoriented, incapable of distinguishing memory from present or dream from waking. They frequently become paranoid, as their worst memories and nightmares haunt their waking hours. Mages have additionally been known to suffer physical mutation. The Magister Lords of the Tevinter Imperium were widely reputed to have been so affected by their years of lyrium use that they could not be recognized by their own kin, nor even as creatures that had once been human. From In Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar, by Brother Genetivi. Ah, him again. He writes so much that we find out. What's next? Orzammar History, Chapter 2. We were losing the war against the Darkspawn, slowly. a few men at a time, but losing all the same. The warrior caste was dwindling with each generation as more able-bodied men perished in their prime without fathering sons. With each generation, more of the deep road had to be sealed, more taigs lost forever. The kings of Orzammar watched and wondered how long it would be until nothing remained of our people but the memories. And then Paragon Caridin arose from the smith caste with a new weapon, golems. Giant soldiers of living stone and metal, each one was an army. With the Paragon's golems, we began to retake the lands we had lost. For a while, there was hope that victory, final victory, was coming. But at the height of the war, Paragon Caridin disappeared, and with him the means to make golems. Several forays were made into the deep roads to search for the Paragon, but nothing was ever found. Over time, the golems we had were damaged beyond repair, and we began our slide, once again, towards extinction. The Blights. There are a couple ways that I've heard this name pronounced, so I'm sorry if I say it wrong. I can't remember if it was said in an earlier video or not. But my dear Annika, I would not worry about the assembly. Let the nobles sit together and argue over whose house owns the grandest taig. It keeps them from panicking, which they would surely do otherwise, and prevents them from making a greater nuisance of themselves. War is the business of warriors. I would say that the enemy's strategy seems to be changing, but they never appeared to have a strategy before, beyond destroying everything in their path. For weeks, their numbers appeared to be dwindling. There was talk that perhaps we were getting close to wiping them out. We could not have been more wrong, for today we came upon the body of their main force. I cannot give words to it, Annika. I have never before seen so much death in one place. There were darkspawn beyond counting, and at the heart of the throng was a great beast, as tall as the palace of Orzammar, with breath of fire. A paragon of darkspawn, perhaps, for they seemed to pay it deference. They were leaving, marching toward the mine shafts which lead to the surface. But I knew when I beheld them that once they had devoured what lies above us, they will be back. From the letters of Paragon Idukan. Idukan? I will never remember how to say that. If it's not said in the same video in which it is coming out of my mouth, I will get it wrong. Balin. Not saying his last name again. Third of King Endrin's children, Balin has always been considered the last and least of his family. Not the heir nor the favorite, and not as accomplished as either sibling, Balin's most notable trait was his ability to stay out of trouble. His efforts paid off. He was named King of Orzammar by the Assembly. Harrowmont. House Harrowmont is one of the oldest noble houses, as old as Orzammar itself. Endrin's most trusted advisor, Harrowmont is well known for being an able administrator and the author of many compromises in the ever-warring Assembly. His opposition of Prince Balin's bid for the throne ended badly. The Assembly named the Prince King of Orzammar, and Balin's first act was to call for Harrowmont's execution. Still don't feel great about that. Agrin. Okay, we've read everything except this last one. So, his update, the Grey Warden Kahari mounted a search for Branka and found her, and the Anvil of the Void, for which she led her house to their deaths. Is that gonna... Oh, no, Shale. Okay, why is that spelled with an L here? Or with just an L here? But in all of the dialogue from Caridin, it had a Y. What is it? Shale. The golems of Orzammar were once made up of the vanguard of the dwarven army, holding back the tides of darkspawn that flooded out of the deep roads. But the art of making them was lost, and many of them succumbed to wear and damage in battle. Shale has no memories either of the time spent fighting in the deep roads or of coming to Hanleith, only a few spotty and bitter recollections of its last master. Kahari unearthed Shale's control rod and awakened it, adding a bitter, malfunctioning golem to the menagerie of companions. Really? You're not going to add what we found out about her from Caridin? Interesting. Books and songs. The Journal of Enchanter Wilhelm. 13 Plutonus? The interrogation of the demon is going well, and it is rather fascinating, providing that what it is saying is true. I have sent all my research so far to First Enchanter Arden, and while he is concerned about my safety, he does not think there is a reason to stop just yet. All I hope is that the Templars do not discover what I am doing. How will we ever find another way to deal with demonic possession if the Chantry does not let us research it? 20 Ilaviesta. Young Matthias nearly wandered down here again today, and this oh, that guy! Wow, I forgot. Okay. Nearly wandered down here again today, and this time I forgot to leave the barrier up. I believe I will key the defenses to ignore anyone of my blood. That's how his daughter got down. I would rather have the boy stumble into my laboratory than have him killed by my forgetfulness. Poor lad, all he wants is to know why his father spends so much time beneath the tower. I will spend more time with him soon, I swear it. 28 Ilaviesta. Shale is acting strangely. I wonder if I should discontinue my experiments on it. I am so near a breakthrough, I am certain. Perhaps it is best if I focus on the demon. 2 Matronalis. The demon almost managed to get away again. Tricky. I shall have to be more careful. Young Aemon sent a letter asking me to return to Redcliffe. I shall have to consider it. Soon. 11 Matronalis. Matronalis. Did I say it right the first time? I don't know. Could it be? What an intriguing discovery, especially considering that the demon was attempting to keep me from it at all costs. Or did it lead me to that information by seeming to deny it from me? I must discover the truth. 19 Umbralia. I think it is time to dismiss this demon. It is too dangerous for me to continue holding it, and I cannot discount the possibility that it is having some influence over the golem. Or is it my experiments? I will try to deactivate Shale for the time being, and then deal with the demon once and for all. Let it end here. There are no further entries. Okay. Notes. I think we read that, right? You guys can correct me and tell me if I didn't, and we can read it next time. Decades old letter. Madam, I can assure you the Circle of Magi is not a sacrilegious institution, and that indeed we operate under the supervision of the Chantry. It would make our investigation of your husband's death much easier if you would simply cooperate with us. I am disappointed to hear that you sold the golem's activation rod. I understand both it and your husband were of invaluable aid to King Merrick during the war against Orlais. Without the rod, we cannot discern whether Wilhelm's golem was responsible for his murder. The golem will simply have to remain where it is unless villagers can find a means to destroy it. Our condolences to you and your son for your loss. I imagine it is of little consolation to you, but your husband is much admired here and will be missed. Make or keep you, First Enchanter Arlen. Correspondence Interruptus. A collection of embarrassing personal communications between the spoiled wealthy and their objects of obsession. To Wereth Lowstone. Age, race, height, I care not for the differences others perceive. But matching your helmet to my tunic for the amusement of standing in line with your new silent sisters invited attention where none was desired. I will not suffer your company again. Allison Highover. Scribbled below. Gonna miss knocking heads with those girls. My elf-root, the herbalist, suggested powdered Bronto horn. I was very discreet. Your sunflower. My dearest Virginia True Royal. Regarding bodice ripped. Enclosed are 7 silver and my most heartfelt apologies for said bodice. I would blame the cold ocean spray, the loss of my favorite shirt, the bucking of the stallion, or perhaps the strain of maintaining all such elements while sitting for a portrait, but I was certainly not myself. I hope you will forgive me and not take it upon yourself to find your own determined way in this world. Yours, Sir Rival Grossman. Dear Sir John, your ministrations, while well-intentioned, hold no promise. Do not despair, for it is not you, it is of me. I require an interval to acquaint myself with the personage you awakened. I am certain we can maintain an amiable accord, and that engagements with our mutual associations will not be awkward. Mari. Oh, got the ultimate, it's not you, it's me. Oof. We have quite a few quest stuff. I was a little worried about how short this was gonna be, but I think we're gonna be good. Ganja Shade. The stone has a will. that surrounds and directs. She guides even when we are willfully blind to her influence, but she is not pure. The stone bears a corruption as old as balance. For the dwarves to prosper, the Gangu? The waste and unstable rock must be cut away. But like the stone, the Gangu has an influence. Each of us must face this, must carve the worst of ourselves away, but the Legion of the Dead bears a unique responsibility. Only the fully adorned of the Legion can face the Gangu, can cut into the darkness that afflicts the raw stone. She encircles us, and we must protect her, here where darkness meets light. The Shaper's Life. The blessing of the Shaper is given only to those who walk with the stone. It is a path that cuts deep, and the road is far from secure, but those who desire to work in memory must first honor it. Document the stone, protect her, and present a new history to the memories. Only then will the blessing of the Shaper be upon you. From the Shaper's Life. Orzammar has carved a legacy from the stone, but history is more than the comings and goings that fill the streets. These caverns are old cuts and well-traveled. The true will of the stone is revealed far from the halls of politics and commerce. The Shaper must step away from the familiar and seek out revelations from the frontier or buried secrets from paths abandoned. The Shaper must first walk away if he is to return. First steps from the Shaper's Life. Before the Darkspawn, the stone held an empire. Dozens of taigs, each cavern a shade of dwarven pride, communities separate but united. They fell by degrees. Ruins crumbled into tombstones, a forgotten glory. But the stone is a living history, and absence can reveal more than constant scrutiny does. As the stone shifts, she chooses what remains buried and what must see the light. The Shapers must return, must walk the lost way, so the children of the stone can see what has been surrendered and what can be gained. This is the sacrifice of the Shaper, the lost way from the Shaper's Life. Topsider's Honor. The fool has been following us for 3 days, but what can I do? I'm sure a city guard could lock him up for being a sodding idiot, but there's no law that says you can't seek your death in the trenches. There's no law down here at all. I said to his face that if he puts our patrol at risk, I'd split him myself, but he's quiet, I'll give him that. Topsiders usually assume the end of a blight erases the Darkspawn from the world. Why does this one care that his victory just drives them back on our doorstep? It's one thing to face them up in the light. He'll cut his own shaft out of here once he fights them in the dark where they live. That, or the lyrium, will get him. From the Legion of the Dead field report by Lieutenant Grant. Gant, not Gant. Gant, not Grant. Oy vey. I swear, Mortivold, I have never seen the like. This elf fought like a man possessed. His strikes were light and did not echo on the stone like those of our greatest, but the precision was that of a Shaper carving a memory across the Darkspawn. Damned if we didn't raise our glasses to him last eve and share stories of honored family. With the Topsider, in the lyrium glow he looked no more out of place than any of us. It makes me think of Cousin Byrne. I wonder how he fares on the surface. I think if he sends another letter, I will read it. Ties of kin should be stronger than where we choose to do business. From a letter from Corporal Trovid Orison, date unknown. Wait, one thing I don't understand about the Legion, because this sounds like a guy from the Legion that wrote that second letter. I mean, obviously also from the first. But am I misunderstanding the Legion? I thought that when someone joins the Legion of the Dead, they go down into the deep roads and the dead trenches, and they stay there until they die. Right? That's the whole thing. That's why they're the Legion of the Dead. That's what they do. So how is this guy getting letters in the deep roads? Or am I totally misunderstanding that? If I am misunderstanding, please correct me. Please explain it to me, but also please be kind. Anyway, the next one. The stone take this Topsider as she would welcome her own. He was born to air and sky, but has served the deep roads better than a native son. Many will see another day because he fought at their side and fell in their stead. We don't know his rights, and I fear the loss of his family blade may cause unrest on whatever journey he faces, but we know him as brother in blood, and extend that which is sacred to us. Willem Trialmont, the path home is dark, the stone is honored to have you in the foundation. Epitaph for Willem Trialmont, 7-5 Storm. There must always be another way to take up arms against the darkness. That is the core of true family beyond kin, and the unifying link that will bring day to night and allow the fallen to rest. Restored inscription, Trialmont family blade. Jammer's stash. Been a profitable season, Kanky. Cutthroat too, so we gotta be careful. I'm taking my half topside so I can get a good price. Your half is in my stash box. It's got one of Peaks? I don't know, locks on it. Standard drill, you need 3 pieces of junk from our common chest to even try to open it. She set them up high-low because you got the best eye for value in this dig. So yes, I faked some loot. Take only the cheapest looking piece in the chest and you'll be able to open the stash box. I wired the expensive looking stuff as bait. You take the right one or you don't. And if you don't, hope you like having a limp. Good luck, Jammer. Well, we screwed that up a lot. The Mages Collective. Despite the Loyalists' grasp on the Mages' political community, many libertarians and equitarians have begun to see eye to eye with respect to the Chantry's role in a mage's daily life. A growing number of mages, particularly those whose magic never strays from the Maker's mandate, feel that the Chantry's constant oversight is a burden upon their creativity and their very will, one that hinders their ability to do their work. These mages, along with a number of hedge wizards who work their arts outside the Chantry's influence, have formed a shadow guild of sorts. A mages collective, wherein members can submit requests and have them seen to without judgment. This collective manages to work in relative secrecy, their members discreet and their clients anonymous. As of yet, this collective has seen no sanction from the Templars, and there has been no sign that its members are practicing magic of which the Maker would not approve. Still, practicing magic outside of the influence of the Chantry is a dream for some, and a dangerous notion for others, and many believe that it is only a matter of time before the veil of secrecy is lifted and the Mages Collective is brought to swift and brutal justice. From A Treatise of Magic and Politics by First Enchanter Josephus. We'll probably tackle a couple more of these if we can after we finish the circle. I don't know, because a lot of them I think said Denerim. But we'll go back there later. Asunder. The ritual was very specific, as such things probably should be. Torso, head, and limbs spread amongst the deep roads to prevent the creature from returning. Looks like they died during the cutting, but we can fulfill the last part in their stead. I'm not familiar with elven ritual. Why would I be? But it seems pretty straightforward. Shaper Axis. Scribbled in the corner. Never even saw the thing. Bet a sword would take care of it. Sawed it in this bag of legs. Might not be elven, maybe human. Doesn't matter, we can still follow directions. Torso, head, and limbs bagged and dispersed. Simple enough. This magic stuff doesn't seem that complicated. Shaper Axis. Scribbled in the corner. No job for a warrior. First hole gets the bag. I don't know what that means. Caged in stone. The inscription is old and worn, overlooked by most as carving detail. The beast is foreign, but the need is familiar. Home and hearth suffer beneath strength and strangeness. These new kin of this Ferelden are better as friends than strangers, so we resist on their behalf, and work with their users to bind with the stone. They no longer fear their skies, and we further our trade above. Lured from above, cornered and corralled. 3 standing in position, a 4th signals the throne. Stasis for the beast, so long as a king holds the throne. So long as a king wills it held. Inscription circa 590 exalted. Oh, no, there's one more. I was about to call it off, but one more. Friends of Red Jenny. The task was never promised to be easy. You said you could enter the circle tower and you were believed. Find the small painted box in First Enchanter Irving's office and deliver it to the door marked in Denerim as agreed, or be prepared to find yourself hunted across Ferelden. Friends of Red Jenny. I'm glad I got to this here, because I totally forgot about that. I should check my quests more often. But that is it. We are totally caught up now. So I have no idea when the next Codex video will be. We're probably going to get a lot of new Codex stuff here in the circle. But for now, if you liked what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment. Subscribe if you're not subscribed. Maybe tap that notification bell to get notified every time I upload. See you on the flip side. Elisa out.